Welcome to Court Helicopter Trending Issues. Kenyans are fighting hard to ensure our judge, the Supreme Court of Judge, Justice Njoki Ndung'u, gets to be elected to join the ICC court. Previously, Justice Aloch was a judge of the ICC. We wish Njoki Ndung'u all the best to get this. Yesterday and the other day, media carried a story saying that one Félicien Kabuga had died. And the question people ask Court Helicopter, who is Félicien Kabuga? Félicien Kabuga is a Rwandese businessman. This businessman was related to the president of Rwanda, then Juvenal Habyarimana. Habyarimana came from the biggest tribe in Rwanda called the Hutu. There was ethnic hatred between the Hutus and the Tutsis. It is alleged that those who killed President Habyarimana, his aeroplane came down and died were the Tutsis. War erupted and the Tutsis went for the necks of the Tutsis. Félicien Kabuga is alleged to have been the biggest business partner of this issue. He imported a lot of machetes and very many Rwandese people were slaughtered, especially the Tutsi. This led to a serious ethnic fight between the Tutsis and the Hutus, and that is how President Kagame came to power. Kagame is a Tutsi, the smallest ethnic community in Rwanda. He has restored peace, he has restored harmony, and the Tutsis and Hutus are living now together. Félicien Kabuga, because of the role he did and because of the number of people who died, the United Nations sat and passed a resolution. In the resolution, it was agreed that a tribunal, special tribunal, be constituted to deal with the cases of genocide in Rwanda. The ICC is a court that has jurisdiction on the following cases. It deals with cases of genocide, cases of crimes against humanity, cases of war crimes, cases of aggression, and lastly, cases of contempt of court pursuant to the Rome Statute. So, when this court sat in Arusha, Félicien Kabuga was issued with a warrant for failure to attend. For 26 years, he disappeared and went hiding. He was at last found to be in France. He was arrested and taken to court in the ICC. The 26 years, there was rumor that Félicien Kabuga was being protected by some top political actors in Kenya, but there was no arrest warrant. One of the journalists was murdered and killed when he said he has evidence that Kabuga was in Kenya, but Kabuga was arrested in France. He appeared before the ICC, and when he appeared before the ICC, he was charged. His lawyers raised the question that he was unfit to stand trial. The ICC court ordered several tests to be done by senior doctors, and the doctors all came with a conclusion that he was unfit to stand trial. So because he was unfit to stand trial, his charges were dismissed or were discharged, but he was released. What is of surprising effect is that if no country, the whole world, wanted to take Felician Kabuga by virtue of his past record. Only Rwanda agreed to take Felician Kabuga, but the family refused that he cannot come to Rwanda because of his past record and the type of animosity that the Tutsi and other affected Rwandese people could riot or could revenge against him. So the question that we ask ourselves, the ICC court, has it given warrants of arrest of serious political actors? Yes, when we sent Cyrus to go to the ICC to get this, he found out that the former president of Philippines, Rodrigo Duterte, was arrested and warrants were issued and he was surrendered to the ICC on 11th March 2015. Benjamin Netanyahu of Israel has warrants of arrest issued on November 21st, 2024 for crimes and for war crimes and crimes against humanity, including starvation as a method of war and intentionally targeting civilians. Mohammed Dia Ibrahim of Hamas of Lebanon warrants were issued on November 21st, 2024 for war crimes and crimes against humanity. Vladimir Putin of Russia, warrants were issued in March 2023 for alleged war crimes related to the unlawful deportation of Ukraine children. Joseph Kony of Lord's Resistance Army, just from Uganda, warrants were initially issued in 2005 for crimes against humanity and war crimes. He remains at large. Then we have Saif Islam Gaddafi of Libya. Warrants were issued on 2011 for crimes against humanity. That notwithstanding, has the ICC been involved in the Kenyan territory? Yes, we have a list of very many Kenyans who have been indicted against by the ICC. The first one, we have Uhuru Kenyatta, who's indicted on 8th March 2011, but the charges were withdrawn on 13 March 2015. Henry Koskei, a former minister and ODM luminary, was indicted on 8th March 2011. Charges were dismissed on 23rd January 2012. Francis Mudaura, the former chief of staff, 8th of March 2011, charges were withdrawn on 18th March 2013. William Ruto, then deputy president, now the president of the Republic of Kenya, Dr. William Ruto, on 8th March 2011, charges were dismissed on 5th April 2015. Joshua Arap Sang, a journalist with CAS FM, indicted on 8th March 2011, charges were dismissed on 5th April 2015. Then we have the likes of another Kenyan who was indicted is Philip Bet on 10th March 2015. He's a vegetable up to now. Paul Gicheru, Wakili, indicted on 10th March 2015. He died on 27th September 2022, and proceedings were terminated on 14th October 2022. He was released on 1st February 2021. Also, we have people like the likes of Muammar Gaddafi, the former president of Libya, 27th of June 2021. He died on 20th of October. Proceedings were terminated on 22nd November 2022. We have also the likes of Nasser al-Hassa of Egypt, it was 6th April 2023, he's still a fugitive. Mohammed Salhin, 6th April, he's still a fugitive. Then we have Viktor Sokolov, 5th of March. Then we have very many other people who have been issued with warrants. What is the lesson to this matter? The lessons we are telling Kenyans is that if anybody commits an offense that is known under international law, that person will be taken to the ICC. This brings to the question, can President William Ruto be taken to the ICC if he breaks the law? We went and looked at Article 143, protection from legal proceedings. 1. Criminal proceedings shall not be instituted or continued in any court against the president or a person performing the functions of that office during their tenure of office. So President William Ruto you cannot investigate him or take him to court so long as he's in office. 2. Civil proceedings shall not be instituted in any court against the president or the person performing the functions of that office. Neither will civil proceedings. Then, number 4, this is where the shocker is. The immunity of the president under this article shall not extend to a crime for which the president may be prosecuted under any treaty for which Kenya is party and which prohibits such immunity. So under Article 143(4), if the President of the Republic of Kenya, whether it is William Ruto, whether it is who comes or anybody, if the President commits an offense called genocide, number 1, if President William Ruto commits crimes against humanity, 3, if President Ruto commits war crimes, number 3, 4, if President Ruto commits an offense called grave aggression, and lastly, if he is in contempt of any summons from the ICC through the Rome Statute, the president will be taken to the ICC. Now you understand why Ruto, Uhuru Kenyatta, Francis Budaura, Arab Sang, Koskei were taken to the ICC. The reason being that under Article 2 of the Constitution, Article 2, Sub-Article 6, under Article 2 of the Kenyan Constitution, Sub-Article 5, the general rules of international law shall form part of the laws of Kenya. And specifically, Article 2, Sub-Article 6, any treaty or convention ratified by Kenya shall form part and parcel of the law of Kenya under this constitution. We have ratified the Rome Statute. We are bound by the Rome Statute. So if any Kenyan, including the president, commits the offenses that we have mentioned, the next flight will be to the ICC. Jokindemu will be sitting in that court to hear cases against Kenyans who will be taken to the ICC. Wakili Dan Sanomari, bringing it as it is. Thank you.